I'm Bill McWilliam, president of Cascadero Copper, CCD on the TSX Venture Exchange. Cesium is one of the world's rarest metals with a growing industrial demand. Drilling is underway on our Tehran property in Argentina to prove up a cesium resource. Cascadero's patent-pending leach process has the potential to make Cascadero the lowest cost supplier of cesium in the world. Visit our website, cascadero.com, or phone us at 604-924-5504.
You're listening to HowStreet.com radio, available online at TalkDigitalNetwork.com. Welcome to HowStreet.com radio, the online source for market opinions. Here is Jim Goddard.
My guest is Sean Brodrick, senior analyst at EdelSonInstitute.com. Welcome back to the show, Sean.
Thanks for having me on.
Gold, how is it doing? Yesterday, it didn't seem to be all that healthy.
Yesterday, that is Tuesday, gold fell by the biggest in one day that it had in over a year, which was terrible. And so what was going on there was people were thinking that with the Fed hinting at higher interest rates and stuff like that, that makes the U.S. dollar shine. And so, since gold is priced in dollars, that tends to send gold lower. Also, it is the real rates, which is the rate on any bond minus inflation. And so rates are being yanked higher, and so that makes gold, which actually has no yield, look less good by comparison. We'll have to see how the day ends now. I mean, the news out of the Fed, and the Fed said because the minutes of their last meeting were just released, and so the Fed said that, well, it looks like we'll have more interest rate hikes than not. The Fed's already telegraphed 3 interest rate hikes. Do they mean more than 3, or else do they mean 3 is the end? We'll have to see how that goes. Right now, the market isn't feeling so bad about it. We'll have to see how things play out. I think that it might be a short-term bottom for things, and that really there was a lot of fear built into that into that announcement from the Fed. In fact, the whole market pullback, I mean, we seem to have these swift, savage pullbacks, and the thing is, so far anyway, those have turned into buying opportunities. We'll have to see how that works out, too.
I didn't hear a nickname for the drop that happened at the beginning of the month, but certainly it got people's attention, and they had everybody wondering, now, is this the start of a downturn, or is that the entire dip, and are we just going to climb out of there, or is it going to get you to climb out of there and get you just confident enough to dump a bunch more money into the market to see a giant drop?
That's the thing we all wrestle with all the time. And, at least so far, pullbacks have been buying opportunities. Now, the big thing people have been pointing out is that, well, now we have the world's central banks actually taking money out of the system. They had been pumping new money into the system for years, and that was certainly one of the things that supported stock market. Now they're taking away that easing, and they're actually not pumping money into the system right now. But I don't think that's doom and gloom. I think that's just slower growth. Because things will slow down, certainly. I'm not expecting anything like what we saw last year, which was a great year. I'm not expecting that, but I still expect things will go higher. One reason is the new tax plan really gives corporations a lot of money to do with as they see fit. While we have heard some talk about giving workers bonuses, what most of them will be doing, I believe, is actually buying back their own shares. Now, this is really the larger firms, but that's what drives the major indexes, and so those should actually do pretty well. And we'll also have to see with the U.S. dollar. Now, this is kind of a U.S. kind of focused thing, so people in Canada may want to think about these things differently. But if the U.S. dollar stays weak, that helps U.S. corporations, right? Because they can export more of their stuff overseas because it costs foreigners less. And so we'll have to see how that goes. But if the U.S. dollar stays weak, that will definitely pump things up. And the final thing that I want to say is that we have seen a pickup in the global economy. And if the global economy is really picking up, then we don't need as much growth in the U.S. because the rest of the world can actually take on that more. And so that can actually put things higher. So my bottom line is I am looking for growth. I am looking for prices to rise, stock prices to rise generally, but not as fast as they were. I think I might need more of a bumpy ride, and we'll have like 2 steps forward, 1 step back, that kind of thing. So it can actually lead to more of a zigzag kind of thing.
We'll have more with Sean Brodrick right after the break.
Cypress Development Corp's flagship lithium project is located just east of Albemarle's Silver Peak mine in the heart of Clayton Valley, Nevada. A 12-hole exploration drill program for lithium-enriched claystone on Cypress's 100% controlled properties is now underway. Cypress Development Corp trades on the TSX Venture Exchange, symbol CYP, the Pink's CYDVF, and on Frankfurt's C1Z1. For more information, please visit our website, cypressdevelopmentcorp.com.
Glance Technologies owns and operates Glance Pay, a disruptive mobile payment technology now live in 16 cities in Canada and about to launch in the US. With revenues up 664% in the last quarter, Glance Technologies has the potential to be a worldwide leader in an industry projected to grow to $1.3 trillion in 3 years. Glance Technologies stock symbols are GLNFF in the US and GET in Canada. Find out more at glancepay.com.
Welcome back. We're speaking with Sean Brodrick. Sean, you took a trip to Mexico. What's happening there?
Yeah, that was fun. I was down looking at a gold property, which I'm not ready to talk about yet because I need to talk to my subscribers about it. We can talk about it next week for sure. But what's really interesting is how much activity there is in Mexico, economic activity. Things are booming. Things are bustling down there. I mean, people were really thinking with all this talk of a wall and also renegotiating NAFTA, how that was really going to hurt Mexico. You're not seeing it on the streets. I mean, they have a booming middle class. Things are looking good. They do have a crime problem, especially with the cartels. There's no getting around that. But definitely things are definitely looking like, they could shift into higher gear economically. And that raises a whole bunch of investment potentials. You can start with the Mexico Fund and the large ETF that actually tracks Mexico, and just look at the larger components of it, because I think things look good south of the border. And I would say certainly people are having fun, having a good time, making a lot of money. Things look good there.
When it comes to investment opportunities, any particular areas that are booming in Mexico?
Certainly telecommunications are. I've been reading about that. A funny thing that's happening, and I was just reading about this on the plane down, malls are booming in Mexico, unlike the U.S., which has these ghost town malls, right? Well, people don't actually purchase as much online down in Mexico as they do in the U.S. In fact, people do most of their purchases in the flesh. And so, since they have a growing middle class, since things are increasing economically, this is making malls and freestanding stores actually see a lot of traffic. So, that's one area to look at down in Mexico.
Is there more of a social aspect to shopping there?
There's more of a social aspect to the nightlife. I mean, I was in 2 Mexican towns, and those that have squares, I mean, people come out at night and they walk around. And sure, since you're walking around, of course you're going to buy some things. They're more, I mean, I hate to really draw brush strokes on like any large population. You hate to say all Mexicans are like this, but generally speaking, there are more Mexicans who are interacting with each other than actually focused on the electronic devices in their hands. And that really sets them apart from the U.S., I think.
Yes, where everybody is so busy being connected to everybody, they're so lonely.
Yes, exactly. That is the problem in the U.S., isn't it?
We'll have more with Sean Brodrick right after this.
Hi, I'm Douglas Mason, President and CEO of Magnum Gold Corp. Inc., MGI on the TSX Venture Exchange. A 2015 drill program on the LH property intersected high-grade gold, including 16.9 meters of 13.58 grams and 11 meters of 20.66 grams per ton gold. A follow-up drill program is planned to further evaluate previously identified subsurface high-grade gold mineralization. Please visit our website at magnumgoldcorp.com.
Don't miss out. Stay informed. Receive the HowStreet.com weekly recap with thought-provoking podcasts, radio, and articles delivered to your inbox. Sign up for the HowStreet.com weekly recap on our homepage at HowStreet.com.
Welcome back. We're talking with Sean Brodrick. Sean, what's happening in the oil space?
You know, I mean, looks like natural gas is going to bottom again, so that's not bad. Oil, though, it's, starting to go sideways for now, but at least it's not like falling the way everyone was actually predicting. Oil actually looks, pretty good. It's had a decent run here. Some pullback wouldn't be too surprising. And we were just hearing from the International Energy Agency that they think North America is going to be an oil power going forward, and that there's a lot of growth coming from North America. So depending on the company you're looking at, that's actually quite good. I know we have an oil pick in the Supercycle investor portfolio that's doing quite well and is increasing the amount of wells that it's drilling by quite a bit. And so it's really putting money to work and reaping a lot of rewards from that money. So I think you have to be really selective in the oil space because some companies are going to remain under pressure, but there's some real opportunity there, and especially natural gas, simply because natural gas has been beaten flat with a shovel. There has to be some opportunity in that area, and that's one that I plan to look at in the weeks going forward.
In Canada, they're solidifying the rules for legal marijuana sales in the fall. How does that affect people who are investing in the marijuana space?
Well, here's the thing. In recent weeks, marijuana has not been doing well at all. I mean, it's just been down, down, and down. But I think we might be starting to see a bottom, and one thing that may have something to do with it is 2 new marijuana ETFs have actually rolled out. That's Evolve Marijuana ETF, which the symbol on that is SEED, and the Emerging Marijuana Growers Index ETF, which is HMJR. And these are good because they actually focus different parts of the market. I mean, Evolve's more of a focus fund anyway, and the Emerging Marijuana Growers Index ETF will actually focus on those smaller companies, and so really give them a boost. And that's one of the forces we saw in the market last year, is because people knew that the cannabis stocks were going higher, they poured money into the HMMJ, which is the big marijuana ETF in Canada, and that in turn turned around and just started shoving money into these big marijuana growers in Canada. And so now you have a fund that will actually focus on the smaller stocks. And so I might look for a bottom sooner rather than later. We're still going through a bottoming process. It's not clear sailing ahead, that's for sure. But definitely could be some time to start making your list and making your picks, because it looks like things could really bottom sooner rather than later there.
Has there been any thought about how much money is being taken out of the hands of the cartels by making marijuana legal in several states and in Canada?
Well, I saw a fascinating fact on that, which I don't know whether you want to laugh or weep when you hear this, but they have so much regulation and red tape in California that it's actually raised the price of marijuana in that state, because the growers have to jump through so many hoops in order to actually get a marijuana cigarette from the farm to table that the cost has gone up. Well, who likes that the most? The cartels do, because they can offer cheap black market stuff, cheaper, and still stay in business. So that's the kind of thing where they have good intentions, but they aren't executing properly. They should make it easier and cheaper for legal companies to sell so that they can drive the cartels out of business. But I have to tell you, the cartels must have greeted this news with just whoops of joy, because California is making marijuana so expensive that the price is actually going higher. That is not how a free market is supposed to work.
Right now in Canada, Stats Canada is asking people, how much are you paying for your marijuana right now, so they can set prices that are competitive. And I never thought we'd see the government asking people, you don't have to tell us who you are, but just how much are you paying?
So and then you have to wonder if they'll tell the truth. That's always, up for debate.
Of course they're going to tell them that they're paying less than they really are.
Because everyone wants to look smarter than they are. They don't want to be the person who pays too much for their weed.
Is there anything else that we should be taking a look at on the markets right now?
I think really tech is looking strong in the U.S., and that's a nice change, and it could continue for a while. If we are going to have inflation, and it looks like we are here in the U.S., right, then tech stocks can do very well because, or at least those that don't have all of the commodity inputs that actually goes into their end products, because the price of commodities will be going higher as inflation cranks up, and we're seeing wage inflation, we're seeing global growth, we're seeing the things that point to higher inflation anyway. So tech stocks that actually make things like software, they can actually do very well in this environment, and that's one thing that I plan to look at myself going forward.
Sean, thank you so much for chatting with us.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
My guest has been Sean Brodrick, Senior Analyst for EdelsonInstitute.com. You're listening to HowStreet.com radio. Find us on Twitter at HowStreet. Our popular YouTube channel is Talk Digital Network. Questions for the show or our guests can be sent to info@HowStreet.com. I'm Jim Goddard. Thanks for listening.
Comments made on HowStreet.com radio are an expression of opinion only and should not be construed in any matter whatsoever as recommendations to buy or sell any financial instrument at any time. Available online at TalkDigitalNetwork.com. HowStreet.com radio is a production of HowStreet Media Incorporated.